Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look at the METEOR FR Mk.9, which is coming in as the next event vehicle for Israel. Now, even though it says it's the Mark 8 or the F8, I promise you it isn't. This is the FR Mk.9, and the reason you can tell is because it has these cameras in the front of it. Now, why is it labeled as the F8? Well, probably because it's very similar to it at the moment, and they might have just copied it over right now, or maybe I just somehow got the file wrong, but I don't understand how I would have done that, since, once again, this is the FR Mk.9. Now, the Eye in the Sky event, which this vehicle is coming out with, is starting on the 16th of April, and it's running until the 30th of April. It's going to be an event vehicle, so not a premium, at rank 5, and then also you're going to get some decals and a few other things alongside of it, which should be pretty fun. But if you're looking for a unique experience, or if you're looking for something different, that's not this vehicle. This vehicle is straight up just a vehicle where all you have to really do is just play the Mark 8 and you will get exactly the same experience. I don't think there's going to be anything different with this one, even with its interesting camera layout that somebody has modeled here. So this vehicle has access to the Rolls-Royce Derwent 8, so the pretty standard Meteor Mark 8 engines. It also has the 4 Hispanos, the Mark 5s, which, you know, a lot of people used to not like in the past, but I think the Mark 5 has always been good, and it is fantastically fine now. You don't have to worry about convergence, really, since they're not on the wings. They're all, like, centrally mounted, so it's very easy to deal with. And then also, that's pretty much it from the plane point of view. You do have some bulletproof glass, which is quite nice, and then a little bit of armor in front and behind of the pilot, so that gives you a bit more survivability, but generally it's not really going to do much. The only really interesting thing about this is the actual cameras that are put into this vehicle, but as I said, you can't really use them for anything, and until they add a mechanic which is for recon, whether it's just something like increasing keen vision a little bit or increasing awareness a little bit, there's not really much point of it. So modifications wise, this thing has all of the standard ones. Remember, since it's an event vehicle, you'll have to grind this thing out. So you'll have to grind out all of the modifications. Also, during the event, they're not giving any bonus modifications, so you will just have to grind everything. You can sell this vehicle, though, if you want to. I don't think the price of it's going to be very high, but who knows? Anything's possible. It doesn't get access to bombs right now, but it does get the ARs. These are the rockets, which have 3.9 kilos of explosive mass, and they're also SAPHE, so they have a bit of pen as well, but not a ton. So they're not going to be amazingly good. It would be nice if this thing got 2 1,000-pounders. That's pretty standard on most of the Meteors nowadays. And remember, we are quite away from the event, like at least a few days, so maybe that could change. And it would be nice if it did, just because of the fact that you don't want to just kind of play with these things. So you do get all of the different belts for the 20mm. You have the air targets ones, which have the SAPI round, which is really nice, along with the HEI. You also have all of the other ones, which turn up, and then also the stealth belts with the HEI SAPI. So if you are very, very if you are very, very confident, you can do a ton of damage with this thing, which is really good. Now, it's 8 OBR. 8 OBR is not fantastic for this thing right now, and I'll tell you exactly why. They moved down a lot of vehicles, the MiG-15s specifically, and then also the Sabres, and both of these vehicles dominate this BR bracket. And when you have a look at something like this, which is, just a basic bog standard Meteor, what you're getting out of it is not a vehicle that can maneuver fantastically well, and also it really struggles in the speed department. So you always have to defensively fly against these things. Once you get the upgrades for the engine, you can do that, but if you don't have those upgrades, it's really tough to fly, and that can be a real problem for it. Now, the cockpit is obviously modeled because it's the same as the Mark 8. There's no difference between it and the other one. It does look really nice. It's really cool how many of these cockpits just look fantastic. I don't think there's a game out there that has as many high fidelity cockpits as War Thunder does. I know, like, there's a lot of people who want, you can see there with the good old gears. I know there's a lot of people who want more fidelity cockpits for bombers and stuff like that, but it's just kind of crazy how many vehicles in War Thunder already have some pretty cool cockpits. Now, the Meteor does turn very well. You just have to worry about overload, but that'll get better once you get the G-suit, and also crew skills, which can be a little bit harder to get for Israel. But the one thing I've got to say about this vehicle is it's just a really boring event vehicle, isn't it? There's nothing really that interesting about it. It's basically a vehicle where if you want to pick it up and you don't want to play any propeller aircraft in the Israeli tree, then obviously you can grind this out, and then you can use this to research rank 4, 5, and 6 for Israel. You can get past some of the rough vehicles that are in the tech tree. But mostly, you know, the propeller aircraft aren't that bad after some balancing stuff. The S199 is terrible, but, you know, that's a pretty standard thing. And also, whoop, that's not good. Oh dear. But also at the same time, like when it comes to these vehicles, the major problem is they're never going to be ones which are in the meta anymore. They used to be, like a very long time ago, they used to be quite nice at 7.7, which is usually where they hung out, and then all of the monsters were at 8.7 and 9.0, but because of how strong 9.3 is, a lot of those monsters that were at 8.7 specifically are now put down to 8.3, and this vehicle also has been put up to 8.0. So now they just face them all the time, and because they're not really in the meta, you're always up against it, which is not really fun. Now, this vehicle does have very good firepower. It does have, as I said, a very good elevator, so you're able to do quite a lot with it. But the one thing that it lacks at is speed. And you can even see over here, even like trailing this test drive Mk.9, it has a problem with keeping up at it. And that is the biggest issue with this thing. Actually keeping speed and momentum while fighting a lot of these guys which have a lot more or better energy performance than you. Like the Mk.15 Bis and the Sabre, which are both at 8.3, can just run rings around you. And the only saving grace for a vehicle like this is you don't face 9.3s. And 9.3 is obviously a very powerful BR for a lot of nations that you generally face, such as America, and then also a few others like Britain even. So at least there's that, but generally you're not looking at anything which is going to, you know, even though that's like a saving grace for it, it's not exactly a great saving grace, because you're still going to have to face monsters that are just better than you. I hope they give it more secondary ordnance, I really do, just to make it a bit more useful in different game modes, instead of just being an air arcade, air realistic air simulator vehicle. But I suppose if you really enjoy the Meteors like I do, it's a nice addition, but it's just something that you could just play the Mark 8 and you could just get everything out of. They really need to have a think about maybe adding something to this to make it at least a little bit unique, you know? To give it like something which is going to be a bit tantalizing for people instead of just another Meteor. And this kind of goes towards what we were talking about before with the ideas of like these event vehicles. They got to kind of make them a little bit more interesting and a little bit more fun for people. And I'm sure they will. Like, I generally think in the future they'll probably think about it. Oh, the guns do make a lot of smoke, by the way. Look. I added that in more recently. But yeah, hopefully they do make these events a little bit more fun, a little bit more tantalizing, because right now, this isn't it, Chief, and hopefully that improves. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.